In this video, we're gonna share you why Penang hawker food is the best in the world. Hi there everybody, we're the Corporate Breakout Couple. My name is Fran, this is John. John is Singaporean, I'm Malaysian, and we've been living on the beautiful island of Penang for the last 2.5 years.
We are in First Genting Cafe, which is one of the all-star coffee shops among many in Penang. Why do I say all-star coffee shops? Because when I see the other parts of Malaysia, because you know, Fran and I, we travel a lot, especially to different parts of Malaysia. And what I find is compared to places like Johor, compared to places like Ipoh and KL, many of these places, they have great food, don't get me wrong, but somehow the food that you get in each coffee shop, there's only like maybe one or two great, food sellers there. But in Penang, such coffee shops like First Genting has so many, it's like multiple hits in one coffee shop, and that's what I really love about Penang Island.
So basically, when you visit Penang and you ask us, you ask the locals, what is good to eat? Which Char Koay Teow stall is the best? Honestly, there isn't really a best because all Char Koay Teow sellers have their own spin on their Char Koay Teow dish, and all are delicious. It just boils down to your personal taste, right? And when you go to a coffee shop like this, the Char Koay Teow is good, the assam Laksa is good, the Hokkien mee is good, the wantan mee is good. Every dish is good, right? So it's very easy to eat out in Penang because when you go to a hawker stall, you can choose any dish that you want to eat, and it's guaranteed to be yummy. Now, then in that case, your question might be, cannot be every dish in Penang is yummy, right? Well, actually, it is possible because you see, Penang people are very, very choosy. They are very particular with their food, which means that if a dish or a hawker is selling not so good food, substandard, well, I can bet you that word will spread. Everyone will say, no, this place not good one, and everyone will say, yes, I tried before, not good, and maybe a few weeks later, the guy runs out of business.
Yeah, that's why Penang is the food capital of Malaysia and has the best hawker fare in the world, because the people here just demand such a high standard, right? Let me just start. Like this one, this is the local, it's a duck Koay Teow Thng, which is Koay Teow soup, but it's duck version. So what I find is, I like Koay Teow Thng because it's very, the broth, the sweet aroma of the soup. And I also drink that in Singapore, by the way. But the difference between Singapore and Penang is I tend to drink Koay Teow Thng soup in Singapore only when I'm sick. Okay, why? Because honestly, I find that the soup in Singapore, some of them are quite bland, right? It's because of also the amount of ingredients that the hawkers put. Like this one in Penang, I tell you, is just totally awesome. This is one of my favorite dishes.
It's very flavor packed, right? Very full of umami.
Yeah.
And no, it's not because of just the MSG, okay,
yes,
guys? It's really because of all the ingredients, and they boil the soup.
You look at all this, the Koay Teow is very silky as well, right? The Koay Teow quality in Penang and Ipoh as well is really good. So when you eat the Koay Teow, right, it is so smooth, and it doesn't break that easily, yet there's this very springiness inside. And in this particular bowl, I added extra ingredients, I added extra meatball. So this bowl only costs 8 ringgit. The baseline, if you don't add any ingredients in Penang for this type of Koay Teow Thng, is around 6 ringgit. And compared to KL and JB, the cost is at least 20 to even 30-40% higher.
Yeah. Now my turn. Okay. So this is actually laksa soup. Okay. Now it's missing the laksa noodles because it's a lot of food for just the two of us. So my favorite snack, right? My favorite accompaniment is to have laksa soup, very thick and yummy, with crispy fried spring rolls. Okay. So what you do, this is a Penang secret. What you do is you dip the spring roll into the laksa soup, and it's the best snack ever.
Yeah, she loves it. And assam Laksa is one of the recent mandated, there's 13 dishes, right? So the Penang government, right, the City Council, they are so intent on protecting the quality of food in Penang that they recently, I think just about a month ago, they mandated that 13 local Penang dishes must be cooked by locals and not by foreign cooks. And that shows the intent, right? Because I think a couple of years back, think during
2016.
the 2016.
So they did a mandate in 2014. It was imposed and implemented in 2016 that only the head chef of these foods must be local, right? Your assistants, right, the one that serves you, collects the money, can be foreigners, no problem. But now they're bringing back this thing to all local kopitiams, to all food courts, right? The only ones which are exempted are cafes, like your coffee, toast, Western food cafes, as well as restaurants. So those are fine. But any local establishment that sells local Penang hawker food, for these dishes, pasembur, mee goreng, Char Koay Teow, assam laksa, Koay Teow Thng, Hokkien mee, curry mee, and so forth, are all must be local Penang chefs. Now, let me share you this. This is one of my favorite dishes. It is actually curry mee, right? Penang white curry mee. Now, the secret, right? Actually, it's not in the soup. The secret is in the chili, right? And I asked my local stall before, hey sister, can you teach me how to make the curry mee chili? Wow, I tell you, the list of ingredients that goes into making the chili is amazing, right? And she says, yeah, it's not possible for a home cook to actually make the chili because it's just too much work to just cook it for a day, right? So this chili is what makes the soup super amazing. And don't be worried that the soup is very red, that it's very, very spicy. Actually, it's not that spicy. Well, then again, my spice tolerance is quite high, but it's the flavor of the entire soup, right? That is just amazing. You got fried shallots in it. You taste the creaminess, you taste the coconut milk, you taste the spices. It's just an amalgamation of flavors in one bowl. Amazing.
And some of you who have followed us on this channel for a while, right? You know that Fran and I previously started a hawker store in Singapore for about 2 years selling Penang hawker fare. And that's how passionate we are about Penang food by bringing it all the way to Singapore, right? You know, it took us about 9 months to really figure out the whole trucking route to import in certain authentic ingredients that you cannot find in other parts of even Malaysia and Singapore, where we actually import in, like for example, when we did our chi chong pan, right? We had to import in the heko, right, which is the shrimp paste, and then we import in the sotong for Fran's famous Indian mee goreng, right? And that hawker store really gave us, a lot of insights to how we compare Penang hawker fare with Singapore hawker fare.
You see, it's very simple, right? In order to make authentic Penang food, you need authentic Penang ingredients, which is why the hawker fare in Singapore, when they sell, like say Penang Char Koay Teow or they sell Penang prawn mee, right? If the taste cannot be the same, right? And trust me, I've tried because I lived in Singapore for 14 years and of course I miss Penang food, right? So whenever I see Penang Char Koay Teow, Penang Hokkien mee, I get so excited, but then I get very angry because the taste is totally different. It's so off. Example, Penang Char Koay Teow, how can they serve it with the prawns, with the prawn head still there, the shell still there, and worse off, they give you calamansi and then peanut powder at the side. Huh? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to make a little bit of pad thai as well as Char Koay Teow in one dish, right? So, and of course, who's cooking it? Who's the chef? It's a guy from China, right? So, I totally understand why the Penang government is taking these initiatives to make sure that the flavor and the taste and the authenticity of the dish remains in Penang. Because if Penang loses its well-known name of Penang hawker fare, then it kind of loses its identity, right? Because food is such a huge identity in Malaysia, even more so in Penang. Welcome to the Shark Food Court, and the name is called the Shark because the food is terrifyingly good, okay?
That's right, guys. This is another all-star coffee shop, okay?
Yep.
Earlier on, we were mentioning to you, right, that in Penang, you can get so many of these type of all-star coffee shops. Later, we'll share with you some of the stores. I can tell you that almost everything here, almost every single store is good and is power-packed, okay?
Yep. There's a lot of big hitters in this food court. So you've got really good Hokkien mee, which I've ordered. Very good curry mee. Wantan mee is amazing.
Yeah, this is the wantan.
One of our friends just whacked the whole bowl after a second. This is her second meal, okay? It was that good.
So I just want to share with you one of my favorite wantan mee, right? Why wantan mee is so different from well from Singapore one is, if you see the way they do their noodles, right? Okay, this has been sitting here for a while. It's actually very well mixed and not so clumpy. Right, when I say clumpy, right, it means that the noodles actually don't really stick to each other as well. And you can see it's actually very springy. Right, so what I really love about Penang wantan mee is not only do the hawkers mix, as in when they cook the noodle in a hot water, right, they mix it very well. So there's also a good proportion of oil in terms of taste, right? There's a very strong umami, right? And of course the mix of the ingredients, right? Like this one, it has 3 wantan, right? And they have char siu. The char siu here is awesome as well. And guess what? This bowl of wantan mee only costs 7 ringgit. Okay, 7 ringgit for this power-packed wantan mee.
Yeah,
that's what I love about Penang.
The differentiation, right, of how the Penang wantan mee people do with this, as opposed to the Singapore one, is that the moment they put the noodle into the bowl of oil, right, the sauce mixture, they actually mix it, right, and that takes another 3 to 5 seconds. It's a step, right, that takes 3 to 5 seconds. And what I notice is that Singapore hawkers they skip this step, and it's so crucial because it coats the noodles in the sauce already, so that it ensures that the noodles don't clump up. Even though the bowl has been sitting here for the last 5 minutes because we were setting up the camera, it's not clumpy and it's still very silky smooth.
Yeah,
that's
and
what I
you
love.
can see, if you know how to tell, right, you look at it, you know it's good. Okay, you know it's good.
And this is my Hokkien mee. Obviously, I can't show you the bowl because it's like piping hot soup, but it's so, okay, let me try, okay, here you go. Woohoo! Okay, so what I like about this particular stall is that, first of all, look at all the ingredients, right, in a bowl. Now, we came a bit late. They ran out of the pork intestines and the pork ribs already, so I added mine with a lot of prawns. So this bowl cost me just 10 ringgit, and what I love is the soup and guys, the noodles, the bihun and the yellow noodle is so silky smooth. It is one of the best bowls of Hokkien mee in Penang.
So if you notice, right, both these dishes are the list is within the list of what the Penang government has mandated. There is a local delicacy. So you can see how the government, especially, right, as we mentioned earlier, how they endeavor and the intention to really protect the quality and the heritage of all these food. And unfortunately for Singapore, I can say as a Singaporean, you know, a lot of this heritage is kind of missing because we modernize so fast, right? And let me explain a bit more about Singapore food. So you know, both of us were hawkers for about 2 years in Singapore, right? Selling Penang food, not this Penang food, but other Penang food. What I noticed is a lot of Singapore hawkers, especially if you compare to since the 1980s, 1990s when I grew up, right? Let's say like this wantan mee, right? There are 10 ingredients, right, needed to make this. But over time, you know, the cost of ingredients gone up, rental manpower has gone up in Singapore, right? And I tell you, rental is no joke, by the way. I'll talk about that in a while. Is that maybe in terms of 10 ingredients, right, they don't use as many. They cut down to 7 ingredients, for example. And maybe within each ingredient that's more expensive, they cut a little and cut a little.
Or they water it down.
Yes.
Right, like your paste, right? They put a lot of water. So instead of the pure herbs, the pure onions, the pure chilies, for example, they add water. So when you eat the final product, there is no oomph in your mouth. There's no explosion of flavors. It's just very extremely muted. In my words, it's meh, right?
Yeah,
it's very meh.
And flat.
Yeah,
right?
very flat.
As a Singaporean, I can tell you the flavors in Penang, right? Everything you taste, whether it's Chinese food, Malay food, Indian food, it bursts in your mouth, right? The sweetness, the umami, you know, then certain
spicy,
sour,
the tangy,
yes.
Yeah, right.
And
especially Penang, right? Because we are very close to Thailand, so we are very used to sour and spicy flavors, not just very, very spicy or very, very sweet, right? Which it tends to be the case for Singapore food.
Yeah. And can you guess, like these stalls, right? Of course, my reference is not only from these hawker stalls, but how much is their rental, right? I can tell you in Singapore, we had 2 stalls. First one was in Chinatown, then we went to Alexandra Food Village. rental was around 2007, 2008 for the first one, and 3,000 for the second one before GST. Okay, now GST
before conservancy,
Yeah.
before table cleaning
Yeah.
fees. That's right, guys. When you eat, we pay for the old guy and the old auntie to clean the table. So the hawkers are the one that's bearing the cost. So in case you didn't know that, right? Yeah.
And now a lot of hawker stores like the Marine Parade Hawker Center, now everything is centralized, right? For table cleaning, plates washing, communal plates they use now in Singapore, right? But in Penang, most of them are still using their own plates, and they collect back their own plates and they wash their own plates. So in terms of cost, if you're just talking about rental, all this table cleaning and all that, right? Each hawker, I tell you, is just paying in the low hundreds of ringgit.
Per month.
Per month, low hundreds, whereas in Singapore, you're paying at least thousands. Okay, you're not paying at least 2,000, you're paying at least 3 to 4, 5. Latest, one of the latest store in Marine Parade, right? The vendor actually bidded for 10,000 Sing dollars per month for I think it's a drink store in Marine Parade Hawker Center. Imagine that. Hey, here we are at another all-star coffee shop. This is Song River Kopitiam, a dinner and supper spot.
Yes, and I've been coming here since I was a little girl. My father would bring our entire family here for dinner every night on Saturday, and he will order me this. This is actually the best grilled chicken wings I've ever had in my life. And you dip in this sauce and the taste is amazing. And my Singapore friends will concur because they are nuts about this chicken wing. So after dinner, we'll go back to the Airbnb, but before that, we'll tap out like a huge packet of chicken wings and we'll go upstairs and eat it with sake.
Yes, it's really very good. You know, the meat is so succulent. Personally, I'm a chicken wing guy, and I also eat chicken wing in Singapore, and this is really, really, really good. And what's also different from the ones that you get from Singapore is this Hokkien, right? In Penang, they call it Hokkien, oyster omelette. In Singapore, they call it Orloa. Wow, I tell you, the Hokkien is so different in Penang because the way they do the omelette is still very soft. You know, like how you do a scrambled egg, and it's their softness and the starchiness. Okay, is not much compared to Singapore. Sometimes I find that it's too starchy in Singapore. Together with the chili, which of course, you know, Penang people, they always make their own chili. It's awesome, and I really love this as a night dish. Of course, it's a bit of an indulgence.
Yeah, and the oysters are very plump and very fresh.
Yep.
Yeah, and of course, Penang's most famous dish, right? Char Koay Teow. So this one comes with duck egg, and this guy who also makes the Hokkien, his Char Koay Teow is really very flavorful, very creamy, and it's just extremely delicious. Okay, it's one of my favorite Char Koay. It's not the favorite Char Koay Teow in Penang for me, but it is up there in the top 5, right?
Yes.
So this is the Char Koay Teow, and of course we have this is a Penang delicacy. Okay, so this is loba, Hokkien, and century egg. And the beauty about this dish, right, is that, for example, the loba, which is made by 5 spices, which is a very unique thing from Penang. This is the sauce. The sauce that accompanies the loba and the Hokkien is something that you can really only find in Penang, I feel, right? So what you do is you dip it in the law. That's why it's called loba, right? The law, and then with the sauce, and you eat it. And the combination is just sweet, salty, gooey, spicy, and just delicious.
And it's different from the usiang that we eat in Singapore, okay?
So much different.
So one thing that we notice about Penang, or rather she knows, I notice about Penang is the communal eating in Penang is very common. Meaning, let's say in Singapore, right? Usually when you go out for lunches with your colleague or go out for dinner, everybody orders their own stuff, right? And then they just eat their own stuff. And I'm talking about hawker food, okay? And yes, I know sometimes we will share stuff, but in Penang, it's almost like a ritual. Every single meal, whether it's a work lunch, you know, time when colleagues go out, where dinner, is common for Penang nights to just order a whole bunch of stuff. Everybody will bring in the extra plate of stuff, and then everybody will be sharing the whole table full of food.
Yeah, and the portions are a lot smaller. Well, not that small, but small enough such that you're able to order many dishes and to share, right? And it's very true when I bring my Singapore friends over, right? And they're already pretty full from a day of eating, they can't possibly finish one plate of Char Koay Teow by themselves, for example, right? So it doesn't make sense for me to order 4 plates of Char Koay Teow, 4 plates of Hokkien, right? So we order 1 plate, 1 plate, 1 plate, and then everyone shares, and the food is actually enough.
Hokkien is
Right?
so good.
Very good, right?
Yeah, wow,
Yeah.
so good.
So that's it, guys, that we want to share for this food video.
Yep, and if you guys want us to do more food videos like this, especially covering food in Penang, type in the comments below Penang food, so that we know that you're interested, and then we can cover more. Otherwise, by the way, this channel, as Fran mentioned, we cover a lot about Malaysia, we cover a lot about early retirement, cost of living, where actually we dwell more into the cost, talking about price comparison between the different cities, not just among Malaysia, but with Singapore and the other Asian cities. So do check them out. We'll put them in the link below as well in the description so you can see. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video. We are Fran and John, the Corporate Breakout Couple. Do hit the like button, subscribe and join our YouTube channel, and see you in the next video.
Happy eating!
Bye bye!